Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move on this interesting day. We're joined by Bloomberg's John Tucker.
Let's start in the luxury space. We have deal news, and who better to talk about the luxury space than me? Prada agreeing to buy Versace for $1.38 billion in cash. This is a deal aimed at strengthening Prada's position as Italy's largest fashion group.
Wow.
The company's based in Milan. They expect the transaction to close in the second half of this year. You'll recall earlier this year, we reported that Prada was near a deal to buy Versace from Capri. They paid $1.8 billion for the brand back in 2018. This purchase is the largest in Prada's 112-year history, returning Versace to Italian ownership and could put Prada in a better position to compete with some of the bigger luxury brands.
And they got construction at Fifth Avenue. They sort of kicked off the Fifth Avenue purchase that Louis Vuitton's doing as well there at Fifth Avenue and 57th Street.
Which is draped in a big, looks like a big suitcase. Is that the one you're talking
about?
Yeah,
that's her luggage. Yeah, you say to Mrs. Key,
cool.
No, we're not getting that this quarter, dear.
Versace, as you know, my experience is they have a flashy, ready-to-wear designs.
Yeah, it's a little too flashy. I mean, we're not striding in Versace.
Not quite there yet.
This morning.
Let's move on. At a factory in China that churns out Christmas ornaments for Walmart, it's always been pretty much standard practice to add the price stickers to those packages as the last step before they're shipped off to the U.S. Yeah. But for the first time in more than 10 years, Walmart is asking the factory to leave the price stickers off for all their items. This is reflecting the uncertainty around the tariffs. Suppliers say, factories negotiated with their American clients to share the cost of the earlier round of tariff increases. The latest developments create a sense of powerlessness on either side. Walmart declining to comment, but they had the Analyst Day yesterday, and the CEO, Doug McMillon, said there are real-time decisions,
I can't imagine,
that's being made on prices.
But,
the company they haven't so far canceled any orders, at least so they say.
Well, Jesse's over in the Death Star saying they're at Amazon, they're like loading the boat here on imports. And Paul, what we learned from Kona Hake is China can do all sorts of go to other country things.
But it seems like there are tariffs. I guess you can go to a lower tariff, whether it's Vietnam or something else, and try to get your product. Or Mexico. So we'll see how it plays out. But you just feel like, as you say, Tom, companies adapt. And we'll see how they adapt going forward.
Could you adapt to another selection within the stock movers?
All right, well, you mentioned Amazon, so let's do Andy Jassy. It wasn't just J.P. Morgan and Jamie Dimon who put out his annual letter. Jassy also.
I missed this.
He, in his annual letter to shareholders, he says Amazon has to operate like the world's largest startup as it works to meet demand for artificial intelligence and cut bureaucracy in its ranks. Right. Amazon, like most of the large tech companies, they bet heavily on AI, committing about $100 billion in planned capital expenditures this year.
Yeah.
Most of that geared toward data centers operated by Amazon Web Services, the largest seller of rented computing power.
How many trucks do they have on 3rd Avenue at any given moment? Prime time,
especially when you're leaving.
20 trucks.
They, I think somebody gave them the order to move to the side streets because it's actually gotten better. It is. No, it has.
So they're going to be like on 73rd Street with one of those big trucks.
Right in front of your house, hopefully. I'll finish up with U.S. Steel. That was lower. President Trump said he's against the proposed sale of U.S. Steel to Japan's Nippon Steel. He was making these comments at a campaign event. He said we don't want to see it to go to Japan.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.